3 weeks ago, a viewer named Eugene from New Brunswick left a comment that stopped me cold. He wrote, Linda, I am 68 years old. I worked as an electrical engineer for 36 years. I have been receiving CPP and OAS for 3 years and thought I had retirement figured out. Last month, a colleague who retired the same year called me and said he had just discovered something about his retirement benefits that he wished he had known 3 years ago. He said what he discovered could change his retirement forever, and I needed to check my own situation immediately. I called Service Canada the next morning and within 30 minutes discovered three things on my file that nobody had ever told me and that were quietly working against my retirement income every single month. Nobody warned me. Not Service Canada, not the CRA, nobody. That comment received over 1,000 replies from seniors in British Columbia, Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Nova Scotia, all describing the same situation. Something was quietly working against their monthly income. They had been receiving payments month after month, assuming everything was correct, without ever being told a check of their file might reveal something that could change their retirement picture permanently. Today, I am telling you exactly what those three things are, how to check whether any apply to you, and why discovering them now rather than later could genuinely change your retirement forever. Before I walk you through all three, one critical thing. The next CPP and OAS payment date is approaching, and Service Canada will not call you to say something on your file is quietly reducing what you receive. Subscribe and turn on notifications right now. So every time something this important comes up, you find out from this channel before another month passes, where you receive less than you are entitled to. Now let me show you exactly what could be changing your retirement if you do not check before it is too late. This is not about small adjustments. It is about three specific situations Canadian seniors are in right now without knowing it, and that when discovered and corrected have the potential to meaningfully and permanently change monthly retirement income. According to Canada.ca and Service Canada published guidelines, your CPP, OAS, and GIS payments are calculated based on information on file, and that information is not always complete, current, or correctly applied without a specific review being initiated by you. According to Statistics Canada, over 6 million Canadians aged 65 and older receive some combination of CPP, OAS, and GIS, and a meaningful portion are receiving payments that do not fully reflect their actual entitlement because of a specific file issue that has never been identified or corrected. The three situations I'm about to describe are the most likely to be affecting your retirement right now, and the ones where discovering and correcting the issue produces the most significant and permanent improvement in monthly income. The first situation quietly working against your retirement is an incomplete or incorrect CPP contribution record, calculating your monthly CPP on a lower base than your actual working history entitles you to receive. According to Canada.ca, quote, SCPP calculation pages, your retirement pension is based on your average earnings throughout your working life and contribution history as recorded in Service Canada's system. That record spans every year you worked from the time you entered the workforce until you stopped contributing. And for most Canadian seniors, that history includes decades of employment across multiple employers, potentially some self-employment. And for many, it includes periods where manual payroll records were standard rather than electronic systems. The critical fact most seniors have never been told is that errors in manually recorded contribution periods are common, that gaps and under-recorded years exist in a meaningful percentage of files, and each missing year reduces the average earnings base used to calculate CPP by a specific amount that compounds across every month of retirement. The maximum CPP retirement pension is a confirmed monthly amount per Canada.ca, while the average Canadian senior receives considerably less, and a portion of that gap is attributable to undetected record errors that have never been found or corrected. Who is most likely affected includes seniors who worked for multiple employers, had any period of self-employment, worked seasonal or contract positions, or whose employment history spans the period before electronic payroll became standard. The discovery moment for most seniors is a phone call to Service Canada asking specifically to review their statement of contributions year by year, something most seniors have never done and that Service Canada does not proactively initiate. The second situation is a GIS calculation using an income figure higher than actual eligible income, because one or more legitimate income exclusion categories have never been applied to the file. According to Canada.ca, quote, SGIS guidelines, GIS is reduced by 50 cents for every dollar of non-OAS income received, but specific categories are partially or fully excluded, including certain employment income for seniors still working part-time, specific provincial assistance payments, and certain RDSP withdrawals. For seniors with any income beyond CPP and OAS, the question of whether that additional income has been correctly categorized and whether exclusions have been applied is one most seniors have never asked and Service Canada does not automatically review. The maximum GIS for a single senior at the lowest income level is a confirmed monthly amount per Canada.ca, while the average senior receiving GIS gets less based on the reduction formula, but their amount could be higher if an exclusion that should be applied has been missed. Here is the insider knowledge moment most seniors never hear anywhere else. On your My Service Canada account, there is a specific income figure being used to calculate your GIS right now. That figure should match exactly the net income on line 23600 of your most recent CRA notice of assessment. Every dollar by which the Service Canada figure exceeds your actual eligible income after exclusions is costing you 50 cents per month in GIS you are entitled to but not receiving. Checking this one comparison right now could reveal a discrepancy that has been reducing your GIS every single month, and that when corrected will permanently improve your monthly income. Canadians who work with retirement financial planners have this comparison made automatically every time a new notice of assessment is issued. Most Canadian seniors find out about income exclusion errors only after years of receiving less than they were entitled to. Now you know to check it today. The third situation is the one most often producing the largest permanent change to retirement income, and it involves OAS payments not correctly indexed or bracket upgraded at the specific ages where entitlement should have changed. According to Canada.ca, quote, SOAS, payment amounts page, OAS is adjusted quarterly based on the Consumer Price Index and seniors age 75 and over receive a permanent 10% increase legislated in July 2022 and indexed since. For seniors who turned 75 and whose OAS was not correctly upgraded at the time of their birthday, or whose quarterly indexation has not been correctly applied due to a file processing issue, the monthly OAS being received may be less than their current entitlement, with no notification ever arriving to explain the discrepancy. The maximum OAS for seniors age 65 to 74 is a confirmed quarterly amount per Canada.ca, and for seniors 75 and over it is 10% higher. The average senior receives a prorated amount below the maximum based on years of Canadian residency after 18. But that prorated amount should still reflect the correct quarterly indexation and bracket upgrade at 75. Who needs to check this immediately includes every senior currently aged 75 or older who has not specifically confirmed with Service Canada that their OAS reflects the 10% bracket upgrade, and every senior whose OAS amount has not visibly changed for more than 3 months without a corresponding explanation. Now, here is the connection most coverage misses completely. A CPP contribution record correction produces a higher CPP amount and a retroactive payment covering the period since the error should have been fixed. That higher CPP flows into the GIS reduction formula at 50 cents per dollar, which partially offsets the gain in monthly income but still produces a net improvement every single month. A GIS income exclusion error that is corrected produces a higher monthly GIS going forward and a retroactive adjustment for the months the exclusion was missed. and an OAS bracket upgrade not correctly applied produces both a higher monthly OAS and a retroactive payment for the period since the senior turned 75. All three corrections connect through the same Service Canada file. All three produce both an immediate improvement in monthly income and a retroactive payment for the period the error was not corrected. Eugene from New Brunswick did not know about any of these connections when his colleague called him. What he discovered in that 30-minute call was a CPP contribution gap from 1987, a provincial assistance payment that had never been excluded from his GIS calculation, and an OAS amount that had not been correctly indexed for the most recent quarter. Three separate corrections, one file, and a combined monthly income improvement that Eugene described to me as genuinely meaningful to his retirement budget for every month going forward. Eugene called Service Canada a second time with specific questions and asked to speak with a supervisor-level representative who could review all three issues simultaneously. The supervisor pulled up his contribution record, reviewed the income exclusion categories on his GIS file, and checked his OAS indexation status in one extended call of about 50 minutes. All three corrections were initiated in that single call. Eugene received written confirmation within 4 weeks that all three adjustments were being processed and a specific timeline for when the corrected amounts and retroactive payments would arrive. If Eugene had known to ask for a supervisor and arrive at the call with specific questions about all three issues on his first call, he would have had his corrections in process a month earlier and would have recovered that additional month of corrected income he did not receive while waiting. So here are 3 steps you can complete this week. Step 1, call Service Canada at 1-8002-779914 and ask specifically to speak with a supervisor-level representative. Ask them to pull up your statement of contributions and review it year by year for any gaps, especially before 1995. Ask them to confirm the income figure being used for your GIS calculation and whether all applicable exclusion categories have been applied to your income sources. And ask them to confirm your current OAS rate and whether the quarterly indexation and the 75 and over bracket upgrade, if applicable, have been correctly applied. Step 2, log into your My Service Canada account at canada.ca/en/employment-social-development and find the income figure being used for your GIS. Log into your CRA My account at canada.ca/en/revenue-agency and find the net income figure online 23,600 of your most recent notice of assessment. If these two figures differ by any amount, contact Service Canada immediately and ask for a GIS income figure review and correction before another payment cycle runs on the incorrect amount. Step 3, share this video with every person you know over 60 receiving CPP or OAS, especially anyone who has never specifically called Service Canada to review their contribution record, their GIS income exclusions, and their OAS indexation status together, because these are exactly the seniors most likely to be in one of these 3 situations right now and least likely to know it. One important warning: scammers are calling Canadian seniors claiming a review of their retirement file has revealed an error and that a correction payment is waiting, but that personal information or a fee is required to release it. This is a scam. Every review and correction in this video is free, initiated by you directly through Service Canada, and requires no fee and no third party. The CRA will never demand immediate payment by phone or ask for gift cards. Hang up immediately and report it to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre at 1-888-49-58501. Of the 3 situations I described today, which one do you think is most likely to apply to your own retirement file right now? And have you ever made a proactive call to Service Canada asking for a comprehensive review of all 3 of these issues? Or have you always assumed that if something were wrong, Service Canada would have already told you? Drop your province in the comments because I want to understand how many Canadian seniors watching this channel today have already discovered one of these 3 situations on their own file and what the experience of correcting it was like. What we covered today is confirmed, and all three situations are affecting Canadian seniors in 2026. More updates that could change your retirement are scheduled before the end of this year, and Service Canada will not call you to say something on your file is quietly working against your monthly income. Subscribe now so that information reaches you here before it is too late to correct something that has been affecting your retirement from the beginning. You spent your entire working life contributing to this country. You earned every dollar of these benefits. Check your file today and make sure everything you earned is actually being paid to you. I am Canada Seniors Update, and I will see you in the next one. Take care of yourself.